What's good? What's good? I'm back. Yours truly, one and only Paul Pickett, host of the Paul Pickett Podcast, aka Triple P, aka the Common Sense Podcast, your source for music, sports, politics, world events, and much, much more. Don't forget the video version of my podcast goes to YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Rumble, BitChute, Twitter, and much more. And then the audio version will go to Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Deezer, TuneIn, Stitcher, Slacker, iHeartRadio, Player FM, and much, much more. Today, I'm going to react to a video of Dan Bongino breaking down the real political puppet master who pulls the strings for Joe Biden. A lot of people would say Barack Obama, but according to Dan Bongino, that's not correct. So before we get into that, though, I want to give you a word from promopalace.biz.
Marketing and promotion? Then look no further than Promo Palace LLC, your one-stop shop for all music promotion services. Services include Spotify playlist pitching, YouTube video promotion, record pool promotion, blog placements, radio airplay promotion, SoundCloud promotion, and much more. With over 2,000 customers and over 10 years of experience in online promotion, Promo Palace LLC is a company you can trust. For more info, please go to promopalace.biz. See you there.
That's right. You heard the beautiful lady. Online market promotions. Please go to promopalace.biz. Also, as you see, we have a coupon code, Labor Day 2023. If you put that code in the checkout, you'll get 15% off any music promotion packages that are available on our website. All right, let's get into it. Dan Bongino, and who's the real political puppet master?
We all know Obama's been the puppet master. I keep saying all the time, it's not a Hunter Biden scandal. Frankly, it's not even a Joe Biden scandal. Joe Biden's part of the scandal, but he's an accessory to the crime. This whole influence.
Oh, yeah, before we get into the shout out to Kingdom Reacts, because this is a Kingdom Reacts reaction to the Dan Bongino. So definitely got to shout him out too. He's got a very, very good
peddling deep state
podcast.
Nonsense, selling the United States out to China and Russia and every other foreign country that wanted to dig at us basically is an Obama scandal because Joe worked for him. If Hunter Biden was the patsy for Joe, then Joe Biden's the patsy for Obama. That's a fact. I've been going through this. I love it, by the way. I saw this conservative commentator speaking, who I like, good person, but talking.
I mean, that makes a lot of sense. If all this happened when Joe Biden was vice president and Barack Obama was president, I mean, you think Barack Obama didn't know about it? Come on.
Why is no one talking about how the scandal's about Obama? I'm like, what the? Have you even listened to my show? Like, Joe, you can nod your head because I know we can't hear you, but we've been talking about this for what? Like 5 or 6 years now? How this is all an Obama scandal? But there are big deep state players outside of Obama, Biden, Hillary, and John Kerry that we're going to expose on this show because they need their day in the sun. And I'm telling you, none of this stuff. Not the biolabs in Ukraine, not the Hunter Biden fiasco, Joe Biden fiasco in Ukraine, not the Chinese Communist Party influence scandal, not Spygate, not the collusion hoax. Absolutely none of it would be possible without this person. You got a drum roll, Guy?
Uh-oh.
Like a little.
I'm scared to find out.
That's actually pretty good. That's actually not bad. You did it on a test. Victoria Nuland. Yes, the verdict is in. You know the name? You read my books on the Spygate.
Let me stop for a second. I didn't know much about Victoria Nuland before, hearing Dan Bongino say this. So I had to Google Victoria Nuland. And just seeing how she looks, it was scary. Thinking that I gotta say it, this bitch is running the country. Just think, she's a white liberal lady who actually, when she speaks, she's actually smarter than she looks. That's the thing. She's actually smarter than she looks. She looks like she's dumber than a bag of bricks, but she's actually smarter than she looks. And I think that's what scared me about her, seeing her picture. Like, this chick look like this lady looks like she's dumber than a bag of bricks. But after hearing her talk, like, this lady has no heart, no conscience. I don't want to hear that Victoria Nuland cares about people whatsoever.
Scandal, you'd already know who she is.
Put me
If
on,
you're
man.
asking
Educate
who's
me.
Victoria Nuland, then this show is for you.
For sure.
Because, ladies and gentlemen, these deep state players, they run their own little carve-outs, too, to keep
learning.
themselves detached, if you know what I mean,
Oh, I'm
from the
learning.
real action. I'm going to walk you through this, how I'm not the only one, by the way, that knows Victoria, or Toria, as they call her sometimes.
Victoria.
Okay.
They call her Tori, too. She's like a Tori Amos vibe or something like that, because she's definitely not cool. A lot of people know about Victoria Nuland. I ain't the only one.
He ain't lying, man. She's definitely not cool.
I'm
And I'm
finding
glad
out.
to welcome them to the party. Here's RFK Jr., running for the Democrat nomination for the presidency, son of Bobby Kennedy. Here's RFK Jr. He's doing a podcast type episode, and he mentions the military-industrial complex, which, ladies and gentlemen, is a real thing. A military-industrial complex is not a conspiracy theory. There are companies making a lot of money out of permanent war. Now, companies make
A lot is an understatement. They're making a shit ton. And this clip he's about to show is off the Math Hoffa podcast, My Expert Opinion. Shouts out to Math Hoffa, who has clearly the best hip-hop podcast on the fucking planet, man, without a doubt.
making money off weapons programs is capitalism, and I don't think is a bad thing. However, when it becomes the primary purpose of the company's existence, which is to maintain a permanent state of war at the expense of the citizenry,
Yeah, that's foul.
ladies and gentlemen, I'd call that a problem.
Yeah.
I want you to notice the
And what he just said kind of reiterates what I said about Victoria Nuland can't have a heart or conscience or care about people if she's one of the main puppet masters behind making a shit ton of money and helping people making a shit ton of money off of war. Like, these people want war. They want people to constantly have war so they can sell their weapons, and they don't care that, you know, innocent human lives are being sacrificed and killed and murdered and died because of this. They don't care. I mean, like, damn, like, let's have some kind of fucking conscience, people.
one person, though, he really kind of mentions here, in addition to others that you never heard of before, when it comes to the military-industrial complex. This is
Okay.
RFK. Play very close attention to this clip.
Killing Ukrainian kids, so nobody here is going to complain because nobody hears, we're watching the coffins come home.
Right.
And so it's the perfect war for the military. They get to, re-up their contracts, and those are the people who drive policy in Washington, D.C.
So is Mitch McConnell they?
He's part of them. I
Okay.
mean, Joe Biden is they.
And we just reacted to the video. Mitch McConnell just definitely is too fucking old. So he's part of they, and guess what? They gotta go, meaning Mitch McConnell, because he's definitely a puppet, especially right now, because he can't even fucking think for himself.
Because when you
Joe
say
Biden.
Joe Biden
when you
is
say the
is
military-industrial complex, I'm still looking for names. Like where my
Victoria Nuland, Joe Biden, Anthony Blinken. Those are the people who are driving it.
Notice, he specifically mentions Victoria Nuland.
He did.
We'll get to this in a second here, why he did that specifically.
Mhm.
But one thing RFK has been focused on for a long time, not promoting the guy, don't vote for Democrats, you shouldn't either. But I do promote the truth.
For sure.
RFK knows something I've known for a long time. It's not just about Hillary Clinton, Blinken, John Kerry, secretaries of state. It's not just about Obama, Biden. There have been upper level people in the State Department who have brought in this deep state conspiracy to take out Donald Trump and have an active interest in making sure you never understand what really happened in Ukraine. Victoria Nuland is one of them. And in case you're asking what she's doing right now, which I probably should have started the segment with, forgive me, it was my fault. She's currently the Deputy Secretary of State. The two. She's probably one of the 5 most powerful people in government.
Oh, damn.
Now, don't take my word for it.
The two.
I want you to listen to someone else you trust out there, Donald Trump.
Let's see.
Trump's given a speech about the deep state on YouTube, giving a little talk. Here's about a minute of it. And notice, again, there's one name he specifically mentions in this speech he put on Rumble and YouTube. I want you to listen for the name, and why this name came up is going to be key. Take a listen to it.
World War III has never been closer than it is right now. We need to clean house of all of the warmongers and America Last globalists and the deep state, the Pentagon, the State Department, and the national security industrial complex. One of the reasons I was the only president in generations who didn't start a war is that I was the only president who rejected the catastrophic advice of many of Washington's generals, bureaucrats, and the so-called diplomats who only know how to get us into conflict, but they don't know how to get us out. For decades, we've had the very same people, such as Victoria Nuland and many others just like her, obsessed with pushing Ukraine toward NATO.
Well, damn, man. You know, that's not far-fetched. I actually just learned that they actually profit off of people staying homeless as well. But that's in another video that's going to upload later today. But to know that Trump is coming in and he disrupted the whole deep state system, and I thoroughly now have an understanding of trying to drain the swamp. Because you got these people up here who's controlling everything and just doing it for monetary gain and not doing nothing for the interests of the people, only for the interests of their pockets. And at the crossroads of that, at the casualties are the civilians. I also appreciate the fact that Dan was able to relay some information from RFK, simply because, you know, he's definitely on the left. But here in Team Think, man, we like to always search for the truth no matter where it come from anyway. It's just so happy.
And let me chime in with RFK real quick. I hate to cut him off again, but I voted Democrat once in my life for Barack Obama. Totally regret it. But if you was gonna vote Democrat, definitely vote RFK over the rest of them. And you know, back to what he was saying about Trump, like, you know, disrupting the deep state. I've always felt like Trump getting elected reminded me of The Wire season 2 when the white guy became mayor of Baltimore, and they were having their first meeting, and there was a what was she? She was like a councilwoman or something. Black chick. There was a councilwoman, and she was going at the new mayor, and you know, he was like, "Yo, do we got a problem? You know, what's going on? Me and you, we got a problem already?" He's like, you know, she brought up that her and the mayor that he beat actually had a deal for him to step down and her become mayor, which is how politics typically works. And she said, you and Tom, there was this other guy that was running too. His name was Tony Gray or something, which was a councilman, it was a black councilman and a white councilman that ran against the black mayor, and the white councilman won. And she's like, y'all both jumped the line. It wasn't your turn. That saying, that quote right there always makes me think of Trump. Like, he wasn't a governor, he wasn't a senator, he wasn't a politician. He's the first actual straight up just businessman in our lifetime to become president. All of them were groomed first. They became senators or governors, and they held some kind of political office before they became president. Even like Barack Obama was a senator for like 2 years before he became president, even if he was being groomed. And Ronald Reagan, he was an actor, but he was a governor. You know, like, I always looked at it like Donald Trump totally skipped the line, and disrupted a lot of stuff, pissed off a lot of people. I don't think nobody, even Donald Trump, thought he was going to win. And that's what really, really fucked things up. But yeah, it always reminded me of The Wire when the white mayor became, you know, the white councilman became the mayor of Baltimore, and the black councilwoman was like, you skipped the line. It wasn't your turn. I had a deal in place where I was going to become mayor. Well, hey, like he said, everybody's not privy to your deals, and everybody's not going to go with your political deals and, wait to not skip the line. But let's hear a little bit more.
Happens that it's usually never from the left. If you think the Bidens and the Obamas and the Clintons control everything, you're sadly mistaken, and that's what I'm learning. And I'm also learning that Obama isn't at the top. He's also being a puppet for somebody. Victoria Nuland. That's a name that I will not forget.
Of course, Obama was a puppet. He was clearly brought in to bring in these woke agendas. And I know people hate that the term woke has been changed to a whole nother terminology. It's got a whole new definition to it, a whole new meaning to it. But damn near every other word is, apparently a man can become a woman and a woman is a man. They changed the definition of that too, so. But yeah, he was definitely brought in to bring in some agendas.
You think this is an accident?
Mm-mm.
You think it's an accident? The current Deputy Secretary of State, who, by the way, has connections to Republicans too, folks. Notice I said the deep state, not the Democratic deep state. She has connections to people like Dick Cheney. It's connected deep to Hillary Clinton, was in the Obama administration. She's now the Deputy Secretary of State. And yet the two renegades running for the presidency right now, actually telling you the truth about the deep state, RFK and Donald Trump, both coincidentally single her out by name.
That's crazy, but
Why?
not ironic.
Ladies and gentlemen, Victoria Nuland has taken an active interest in Ukraine for a very long time.
For what?
My book, Follow the Money, I reference often. The first chapter is called Insane in Ukraine. It describes in detail, this is the thing I need you to remember about Ukraine. Put aside the current conflict for a second.
Mm-hmm. Ukraine
has been a piggy bank for greedy, swampy Americans and others for a really long time. I don't want to oversimplify it, but I think even Ukraine specialists would agree. Ukraine has been at the center of this big push and pull. Some people in Ukraine want to push them more towards Russia. Others want to pull them more towards the European Union. So you got the Russia side of Ukraine, the European side. Granted, I could go a lot deeper on it. I'm not trying to be silly about it or oversimplify it. But that's the big thing going on in Ukraine right now, the schism. Because having an American on your team with influence is seen as a source of power, i.e. Hunter Biden or Devin Archer, people like that. To have those people on your side is considered a sign of influence in this perpetual Ukraine fight.
Man, look
Americans have been making a fortune. Hunter Biden's just won a lot of money.
You just making money off saying, I know somebody, bro. These middleman ass politicians.
Being on either side of this. Paul Manafort was associated with the Trump campaign. He was over there lobbying too. This is not just Democrats who've been involved in this. Ukraine has been a piggy bank for a long time. Having that in your head, I want you to listen now to Hunter Biden's business partner, Devin Archer, where he talks specifically about this thing I wrote about in my book, The Ukrainian Piggy Bank, how there are these two factions that are fighting for each other in this east-west fight. Mm-hmm. The eastern part of Ukraine pushing more towards Russia, the western part pulling towards the European Union. This is very important because it describes Victoria Nuland and how Victoria Nuland's endless lust for power involves dictating what happens in Ukraine. Listen to this.
So you're working in Ukraine, and just based on our off-camera conversations, we're actually interested in the business.
Absolutely.
And it's kind of an interesting business, actually. It powers the world. So
right, it powers the world. And
meaningful business.
Yep.
In your time in Ukraine, did you notice a lot of Americans running around from Washington, exerting influence over there?
You know what? I think obviously it's an important part of the world. I think for different factions of
that's a yes.
different opposing east-west types of views. So yes, there were a lot of Americans lobbying, USAID, State Department officials. There were a lot of Americans.
Because the picture you paint it doesn't sound like a sovereign country. It really does seem like a protectorate or something.
Yeah, I wouldn't. And the protectorate might be an overstep, but yes, there is a lot of interest in Ukraine and who controls Ukraine, and that's it's a geopolitical conversation.
Yes, yes. Ladies and gentlemen, Ukraine has been a piggy bank. Devin Archer, Hunter Biden's business partner. There's a lot of interest in Ukraine in this East-West fight. Because why? Because there's dinero there. Cheese.
Sound like some hip-hop
money.
beef.
That's why. And everyone's been bought off. Either through influence or money. They have all been bought off. You can... Folks, I mean, it's fairly obvious now, right, why this is important?
Mm-hmm.
Are we engaging heavily in Ukraine for the right reasons? Listen, I obviously don't approve of what's happening. And if Russia stopped fighting today, there'd be peace over there. The Ukrainians stopped fighting today, there'd be no Ukraine. But we should not close our eyes to the obvious. There are clearly upper-level people in our government who are knee-deep in this Ukraine mess, this piggy bank stuff, who may not be making decisions for the right reasons. And my concern is if this escalates into what could turn into World War III, and there's...
I had to stop right quick, because what he's saying is these greedy pigs that are putting their hand in this Ukraine piggy bank jar. And why is Ukraine such a piggy bank? Well, I just recently found out that they have some of the best agricultural dirt on the planet, so these greedy pigs are only thinking with their pockets while they're going to this Ukraine piggy bank. And what has war always been about? Resources. People act like the Vikings were just conquering places just to conquer. No, man, it was all about resources. It partially was looking for farming land that they could farm and agricultural, but everybody just wants to assume that the person who attacks you in war, it's always just about evil intentions.
An escape ramp that if Ukraine doesn't want to take it, listen to me, that they're going to wind up holding these blackmail files against American politicians who have been bought off and sold that won't take the off-ramp to peace and will head towards nuclear war. Ooh. That's why I am so concerned. So I'm not just bringing up Victoria Nuland because it's a slow news day.
And that's exactly what I was getting.
That makes a lot of sense. If there's a lot of politicians doing a lot of legal dealings over in Ukraine, and there's a lot of evidence of this, and Russia takes over Ukraine and wins the war, who's going to have that evidence? Russia.
To say, like, people don't realize all it takes is for somebody over there to be able to withhold or be able to blackmail you or hold some sort of card over your head to be able to go, hey, you know what? If you don't do what I want you to do, we got this. And then, of course, the response to what the response to that will be, because America, we bullies. You got everybody surrounding it, just sitting on their asses, just letting it happen. Like, honestly, do we have anybody left in them that has America? And then we have people in these high public office positions who just sit around and let this type of shit just happen over and over. Is there anyone left who has America in their best interest? Please. Not even the president right now. But no, unfortunately, the administration intentions is always spewed with some sort of, generally speaking, for some politicians, is always spewed by greed and corruption and this want to have this power. You know what I mean? Like, it's being exposed every day and nothing is happening.
We got the right.
It's really about survival of the fittest right now, man. Every man and woman for themselves. You got to be in your own best interest nowadays.
Russia, China thing to talk about. I got 1,000 things to get to. These are the people running the government.
Man.
Right now. These are the puppet masters.
Shame, man.
Archer just specifically, we just played Archer number 2, right? No, we didn't play that yet, right? Oh, sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself. Here's the second part of that interview with Tucker, where Archer again specifically mentions catering to Victoria Nuland. Listen to this.
Did you ever see Victoria Nuland there?
We definitely. I never saw her in person, but she was definitely. I think that was her in her scope in her theater.
Did she have a lot of influence in Ukraine?
She did. Yeah, she did. She was. It was constantly trying to.
You mean she does? She does.
Curry favor with her. She was one that you wanted on your good side, as I remember. I don't remember the specifics, whether it was.
You hear that shit? She's the one you want on your good side. Because if she's on your bad side, she could probably fucking destroy you, is what he's saying. And this is the worst kind of person in America right now. A white liberal woman. White liberal women are the worst in America right now.
There were some issues with one of the ambassadors mentioned Burisma as corrupt at some point, and that was a big thing. And there was like a big effort to try and redact that. I think there was some lobbying done to her or with her, but
did it get done?
No, obviously Burisma. I think Nikolai, who came to New York and ate a Cat's Deli back in 2012, looking at the real estate pitch, ended up in Cyprus. I think he's still there. So no, nothing ever worked with that. Though I do believe that at the end of the day, Burisma wouldn't have stayed in business so long, if Hunter was not on the board.
So they got
some
their
years.
Money back.
I think they got some years.
Folks, the woman is currently the Deputy Secretary of State, Victoria Nuland. RFK calls her out by name. Donald Trump calls her out by name.
Got
Devin
this whistleblower.
Archer, key player in the Biden crime family, calls her out by name. Who is running the puppet show here? Victoria Nuland is clearly pulling on some of the strings. She has an active interest in Ukraine. How? Why? Why she has such an interest in Ukraine? I'm not sure how it started, but I know how it ended. She clearly understood that Americans she was connected to in the political swamp on the Democrat side of the aisle were taking money from Ukraine. Now the question becomes, was she pushing to put people in charge in Ukraine? And is she pushing for this endless war in Ukraine to cover up Democrat malfeasance, or because she thinks it's the right thing for world prosperity? The answer is, I don't know. And that's the troubling part.
Right. You don't even know if
there's an off-ramp to
that. Let me stop right there. He's right. We don't know. But based on looking at Victoria Nuland's picture and hearing her speak, I'm going to say has nothing to do about, what's humane and the right thing for humanity. I'm going to say it's all about keeping the piggy bank intact, not letting the Russians take over Ukraine so they could keep the piggy bank, and not letting the Russians take over Ukraine so the dirt doesn't come out about the piggy bank, as he calls it, the Ukraine piggy bank. Yeah, these are just some greedy pigs, man.
Avoid nuclear war. Is Victoria Nuland going to take it? Or is she going to take Zelensky wants to keep fighting. And if you don't, by the way, they've got a blackmail file on all your buddies.
It's like you don't know if she's a proud villain or if she's just accidentally fucking up everything. And
I'm going to go with saying that she's a proud villain. Because, like I said, when I looked at the picture of her, I was like, oh, she looks like she's dumping in a bag of bricks. Then I hear her speak. I was like, oh, she's not. She knows what she's saying.
No, we know it ain't one of them.
The fact that we've even got to ask this question is freaking insane.
Mm-hmm.
I just got a couple more videos here, but I got another one coming up next. Remember the biolabs?
No.
Or you ever hear Victoria Nuland explain just how deeply embedded in Ukraine's politics, economics, police infrastructure, and military we are? This is Victoria Nuland. It's almost like, when Tucker Carlson said to Devin Archer, they're like a protectorate of ours, Archer kind of recoiled. Or Tucker's right to Victoria Nuland. Is she going to take the off-ramp? If this escalates, is she going to do it for the right reasons in Ukraine? Or is she compromised too? Here's Victoria Nuland up on Capitol Hill explaining how we're knee-deep in Ukrainian politics, policing, their financial system. You'd think it was the 51st state. And why is it always the same people talking about Ukraine like Victoria Nuland? Listen to this.
Because they control it.
U.S. advisors serve in almost a dozen Ukrainian ministries and localities, helping to deliver services, eliminate fraud and abuse, improve tax collection, and modernize Ukrainian institutions. With U.S. help, newly vetted and trained police officers are patrolling the streets of 18 Ukrainian cities. In courtrooms across Ukraine, free legal aid attorneys funded by the U.S. have won 2/3 of all the acquittals in the countries. Treasury and State Department advisors have helped Ukraine shutter over 60 failed banks and protected the assets of depositors. And since there can be no reform in Ukraine without security, over $266 million of our support has been in the security sector, training 1,200 soldiers and 750 Ukrainian National Guard personnel, and supplying life-saving gear. In FY16, we are continuing that training and equipment of more of Ukraine's border guards, military, and Coast Guard.
That's fascinating.
I had to throw this in, man, because this is just something that I thought about when Chris Christie was running for president. How the fuck is it that these people who can't even take care of their own fucking bodies, who can't even keep their weight down, running the fucking countries, man? You can't even dictate your own fucking life, and you're trying to dictate everybody else's lives. Like Chris Christie was trying to run for president. Like, yo, are you fucking kidding me? You can't even take care of your own fucking life. I'm just sorry, man. I would never vote an overweight person into a political position. You need to hit the gym and lose some weight first. How the fuck is Victoria Nuland in a position of power when she can't even dictate her own fucking health and she can't even take care of her own body? She's supposed to take care of the country. She can't take care of her own body. I mean, I got a little computer gut, but I walk every single day, man. Come on, man. We got to have some discipline. Like, where the fuck is she walking to? Krispy Kreme and to get a coffee? And this bitch is running the fucking country?
They got governments doing more for Ukraine than it is for Alabama.
So they're giving them
That's
everything.
Incredible.
Like,
we're involved in their justice system, policing, probably their intel services, their government, their financing. So strange. It's almost like Victoria Nuland knew everything that was going on about the Ukrainian piggy bank and everyone was taking money. And now we're giving all this money to Ukraine to shut everybody up about it. So strange. Kind of seems like something's going on over there.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to tell you what I think's going on over there. Okay, why would they care about Ukrainians more than Americans? Same reason I think they would care about illegal immigrants more than they would actual U.S. citizens. Think about it. Like, if Ukraine does lose this war, America could just be like, hey, y'all can all just come here and we'll just turn y'all into citizens, which basically is to get their votes. Like, Democrats do all these fake virtue signaling moves just to get people's votes. And then once they get your vote, they don't do nothing. It's like, first Democrats to say, hey, we're the political party that cares more about black people, until they care more about gay people. Or we're the political party that cares more about gay people, until they only care about transgenders. Oh, we're the political party that cares about transgenders until they only care about legal immigrants. Oh, we're the political party that cares about legal immigrants until they only care about Ukrainians. It's like they move the goalpost every time. I voted for Barack Obama. I was bamboozled and swindled out of my vote like every fucking buddy else, man. And the second term is when they started bringing in really all this woke identity politics and woke analogies and woke virtue signaling and the super race hustling. It's like it was so crazy. It's like literally I saw white people that never voted in their life go vote for the first black president, and then right after he was elected, they made it like America's more racist than ever. What the fuck? You talking about some horse shit, some bullshit. But yeah, I've heard enough. I don't just seeing that little clip of Victoria Nuland speak. Like, does she even fucking smile? She looks like an evil, mean bitch. I'm sorry. I got a card. Like I see it. She looks like an evil, mean bitch. She don't look like she smiles one bit, man. I mean, like, yo, man, like this shit is crazy, yo. This shit is crazy. This white liberal fat woman is running the fucking country. This bitch can't even take care of her own fucking weight. And she's running the show. We're fucked, man. We're screwed. And I know they try to say that I'm public enemy number one, straight, white, male. But hell no, it's got to be Victoria Nuland. Evil, vindictive, white, liberal, overweight bitch. And I got to throw in overweight shit, man. It's like, no, you can't be telling me a person that's overweight is running the country, man. You can't even run your own fucking body, your own life. You can't even take care of yourself, because we got to stop with this overweight shit as being healthy. We want to normalize it because everybody's starting to become overweight. Everywhere I go to the grocery store and I see nothing but overweight fucking women. So, we don't, and that's the thing. All this body shaming is about not body shaming women. They don't care if you body shame men. Trust me. They'll still body shame fat guys all day long. Women will body shame fat guys all day long, but they don't want you to body shame fat women. It's such a double standard, such a hypocrisy. And everything on the left is damn near a double standard and a hypocrisy. But yeah, man. Dan Bongino, nice little breakdown. And I have to agree with him, man. She's definitely probably pulling some of the strings. She's probably not the only puppet master, but she's probably one of the puppet masters that's pulling the strings. And that's probably why they hated Donald Trump so much, is I don't know that none of them were able to pull his strings. And do we know if Donald Trump actually had money donated to his campaign from Bilderberg, Vanguard, State Street, or any of these other big financial institutions running the show or whatnot? Who knows? We just know that I knew once I voted for Barack Obama that he was a puppet. Like, when I realized he didn't do none of the things I thought he was going to do for why I voted for him, that he was a puppet. And then I instantly heard John McCain's losing speech after Barack Obama won. And I swear I instantly told myself, I voted for the wrong person. I should have voted for John McCain. Once again, thank you for tuning in, Paul Pickett Podcast, and I'm out.